Hi there. I wanted to provide a short update on my weight loss. So I'm trying something new. This is the first time I've ever done like a voiceover versus like trying to record a video. So I'm trying to be a fancy YouTuber. But anyway, so I hope this works out. So I have my last three body composition analysis is done, or I'm sorry, I'm showing you that in this video. So I have the last three that I've done. So I've only done three. So I started doing this on February 27th. So I wanted to show you where I was in terms of, progress. It's maybe a bit slower than I was hoping for, but this is the first time since seeking out like nutritional therapy in the last year that I have been actively trying to lose body fat or lose weight. So I'm trying to just kind of work with what my body's giving me right now. I am not necessarily counting calories, but I can tell you that I'm probably eating around 15 or 1600. I think it varies by the day. One of the things that has happened over the last couple of months is that my natural like hunger and satiety cues have really kind of started to come back, and so I don't eat necessarily on the same schedule that I used to, which is very strange, like waking up in the morning and not being ready for breakfast until like 10 a.m. like where before I would wake up and I would be hungry right away. And I think that just stems from years and years and years of eating on a schedule, when I was counting macros. And I want to state that there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, especially if you're, an athlete or you work out a lot or you're a bodybuilder, like eating on a schedule sometimes is just out of necessity. And I think that if you follow any of the like bodybuilding channels or whatever, if you watch Chikara Transformations, like she eats kind of like on a schedule, right, to make sure she's getting all of her food in and then at the right times. But right now, like that's not what I'm doing, and it's a bit strange, but so far so good. Anyway, so the first uh like I guess it's like it looks like a receipt, right? It's just the printout from the body composition scale. It's not an in-body. You guys can see that right there at the top. Most CrossFit boxes are really into in-body, but in this case, this is the I think it's called Tanita. I don't know. We'll find out. Somebody will correct me. So you can see here my weight on this day was 226.2. This is the heaviest I've been since 2016. And that is a result of, right, like kind of going through the natural, I guess, I don't know if it's natural process, right, of like stopping, food rules and counting macros and, just sort of letting my body go wherever it wanted to go. And so this is a really difficult place for me to be in just physically. Like I don't feel super great. But I will say this, I have PR'd a number of my lifts, so there's a little bit of an advantage to carrying extra weight at this point. But I can tell you now that I am tired of it, and I feel like I'm in a really good mental place, right, to address this, right, with my healthcare professionals. So you can see my body fat at 48.7%. One of those really interesting things about my body fat on these types of scales, right, is that even at my lightest weight, when I was, I would say like 2018, 2019 was probably when I weighed the least, as I haven't, I don't know, is that the right word? Is that English? I don't even know. About 183. My body fat actually was about this number, right? I think it was maybe like 46%. So there's something I think about, and I mean, some of you guys know this, right? Like I've had a number of orthopedic surgeries, including two ankle reconstructions, both my shoulders, my wrist, like now my knee is in that category too. So I have a lot of, I think, impedance, right, and interference with some of these scales of, whether or not this is accurate. The in-body calculates it a little bit differently. The in-body is actually based on the law of averages. So it's just averaging your body mass index or your body fat percentage based on everyone else that weighs the same as you do and your body height or your height, right? Your body height. What the hell? Jesus. Anyway, but this scale doesn't do that. Like this is technically, I guess, more accurate. But even with DEXA scans that I've had, previously, like my body fat is pretty consistently always like in the mid to high 40s. So it's an interesting interesting little thing, right? So, although body fat percentage is more of my concern right now, is kind of recompositioning my body versus it being actual like weight loss. But when I was working with my coach on this, like I said, don't be shocked if that number rarely changes. So you guys can see here, I'm significantly heavier than I have been in a very long time. Does it suck? Yes. Am I working through it? Yes. Also, my ideal body weight will never be 120.2 pounds. I think I weighed that when I was about 6. So, but you can see there all of my stuff, visceral fat ratings, muscle mass. My BMR is very low. And that's because even though my muscle mass here says that it's like plus, I don't really know what that means. But you can see right that it's pretty low. And I want to say the last time that anyone has ever really, I mean, up here it says it's 1600. I don't think it's that high. I think it's actually probably more like 1400. So, but anyway, so that was day 1. And then let's take a look at the second weigh-in, which was on March 13th. So we're just doing this every 2 weeks. You can see again my weight's down to 221. My body fat has changed a little bit. I think it's like what, like 0.6 or something like that. So again, it's not, I guess something I'm not like super concerned about, because I know that it's, like I said, even at my, like the most fit I ever was, I think the InBody was telling me my body fat percent was like 46 or 43 or whatever it was. So my fat mass has come down about it says about 4 pounds. So that's awesome, right? Like, because again, I'm more concerned about maintaining my muscle mass than I am about, um, you know, like necessarily like what my overall percentage is, right? Like I want to have that fat-free mass go up. I want the fat mass to come down, like again, recompositioning the body versus anything else. So you can see that was, I think, like what, like 4 pounds or something. Yeah, whatever. So that's over the course of 2 weeks. So it's about 2 pounds a week, which I think is probably okay. I'm pretty comfortable with that. Like there's a part of me still that is very focused on that number and like wanting to drop a significant amount of weight very quickly. But I also recognize, right, that I need to do this in a way that's a little bit more sustainable, because it is deliberate, and there's certainly nothing wrong with deliberate weight loss. Like there's nothing disordered about that. And so, but this is just, yeah, anyway. So, and then here for my last one, which was March 27th. So just like, was that a week ago or so? Yeah. So like a week ago tomorrow. Today's April 2nd, by the way. So happy Palm Sunday for those of you who celebrate. Um, my weight was 216.2. So again, remember, like also too, I want to point this out. It does automatically subtract a pound for your clothing. So this in the morning when I weighed myself on my own scale, I was like 217. So I'm probably somewhere between 216, 217, right? So it does take account that, I'm wearing like athletic wear or whatever. You can see my fat mass, I think, or was my body fat percentage up that week? Let me see. I feel like, oh no, just down a little bit, like 0.6 or whatever. But the fat mass again down to 102. I think at the highest it was like 110. So allegedly all the weight that I'm losing is body fat. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but things are heading in the right direction. So in terms of a goal, I would love to get down like to like the 180, about 180 mark, right? Where I was, a couple of years ago, kind of before I got stuck in binge purge hell. And yeah, and I think that's where I kind of want to go. Like, um, I obviously want to maintain as much of my strength as I possibly can, so that's really important as well. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And so I will probably create another short video in, I don't know, a week or two, and let you guys know how I'm doing. So I hope you're all doing really well, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thank you. Bye.